Stay classy, Golden Eagles. It's good to see you guys. Hey, happy opening day. Well, what would have been opening day for baseball season? Obviously got my Mariners gear on, but it's opening day at home based on what's going on with Corona and everything. Speaking of which, I hope you all are staying safe and staying positive, and you guys are doing things to keep your brains moving and keep your bodies going. I really appreciate it, okay? One thing that I did want to talk about before we start reading our new book, Because of Winn-Dixie, you guys are doing a really good job on our Google Classroom. Guys, if something doesn't work, message me message me below the videos that are not working, okay? And be specific on that, guys. It's really a trial and error process right now. So far, some things seem to be working while others don't, okay? Let me know what's working and what is not working, okay, guys? And I'd like to hear from every single person if something's working or not working, okay? Hope you all are doing well. Sit back, enjoy our newest read aloud book, Because of Winn-Dixie by Kate DiCamillo. We'll read about 1 or 2 chapters. We'll just see how far it goes. Chapter 1. My name is India Opal Beloa, and last summer my daddy, the preacher, sent me to the store for a box of macaroni and cheese, some white rice, and 2 tomatoes, and I came back with a dog. This is what happened. I walked into the produce section of the Winn-Dixie grocery store to pick out my 2 tomatoes, and I almost bumped right into the store manager. He was standing there all red-faced, screaming and waving his arms around. "Who let a dog in here?" he kept shouting. "Who let a dirty dog in here?" At first, I didn't see a dog. There was just a lot of vegetables rolling around on the floor, tomatoes and onions and green peppers, and there was what seemed like a whole army of Winn-Dixie employees running around waving their arms just the same way the store manager was waving his. And then the dog came running around the corner. He was a big dog, and ugly, and he looked like he was having a real good time. His tongue was hanging out and he was wagging his tail. He skidded to a stop and smiled right at me. I had never before in my life seen a dog smile, but that is what he did. He pulled back his lips and showed me all of his teeth. Then he wagged his tail so hard that he knocked some oranges off a display and they went rolling everywhere, mixing in with the tomatoes and onions and green peppers. The manager screamed, "Somebody grab this dog!" The dog went running over to the manager, wagging his tail and smiling. He stood up on his hind legs. You could tell that all he wanted to do was get face to face with the manager and thank him for the good time that he was having in the produce department. But somehow he ended up knocking the manager over, and the manager must have been having a bad day because lying there on the floor right in front of everybody, he started to cry. The dog leaned over him, real concerned, and licked his face. "Please," said the manager, "somebody call the pound." My computer was on for noise, so I just turned it off. "Wait a minute," I hollered. "That's my dog. Don't call the pound." All the Winn-Dixie employees turned around and looked at me, and I knew I had done something big, and maybe stupid too. But I couldn't help it. I couldn't let the dog go to the pound. "Here, boy," I said. The dog stopped licking the manager's face, picked up its ears in the air, and looked at me like he was trying to remember where he knew me from. "Here, boy," I said again. And then I figured that the dog was probably just like everyone else in the world, that he would want to get called by a name. Only I didn't know what his name was, so I just said the first thing that came into my head. I said, "Here, Winn-Dixie." And the dog came trotting over to me like he'd been doing all of his life. The manager sat up and gave me a hard stare like maybe I was making fun of him. "It's his name," I said. "Honest." The manager said, "Don't you know not to bring a dog into the grocery store?" "Yes, sir," I told him. "He got in by mistake. I'm sorry, it won't happen again." "Come on, Winn-Dixie," I said to the dog. I started walking and he followed along behind me as I went out of the produce department and down the cereal aisle and past the cashiers and out the door. Once we were safe outside, I checked him over real carefully, and he didn't look that good. He was big, but skinny. You could see his ribs. And there were bald patches all over him, places where he didn't have any fur at all. Mostly he looked like a big piece of old brown carpet that had been left out in the rain. "You're a mess," I told him. "I bet you don't belong to anybody." He smiled at me. He did that thing again where he pulled back his lips and showed me his teeth. He smiled so big that it made me sneeze. It was like he was saying, "I know, I'm a mess. Isn't it funny?" It's hard not to immediately fall in love with a dog who has a good sense of humor. "Come on," I told him. "Let's see what the preacher has to say about you." And the two of us, me and Winn-Dixie, started walking home. That was the end of the first chapter, guys. I'm going to probably just do like 1 chapter a day. These are shorter chapters. That way we can have the book go a little bit longer. But if we end up finishing this book, I'll have another one that we could possibly do as a class coming forward. I really like doing this. I think it's a good way to kind of keep some normalcy, see my face, and also interact with you. So I hope everything's going well with you. Again, let me know on the Google Classroom what's working and what's not working, and I'll just try to do everything that I can, guys. I hope you guys are all staying safe. You're having a good one. As always, stay classy, Golden Eagles.